Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? Cobra Trading here, and what I want to do is a two-part video series. One, kind of getting back to the basics, and it's something that I've been getting a lot of requests for lately, is just kind of getting back to the basics of trading. So what I want to do is start from scratch, getting to know yourself as a trader, and figuring out how much time that you have to dedicate and how much capital that you should start with, a little risk management and things like that. That's what I'm going to do now. And in the second part of the video, which I'm going to film probably next week, is going to be a little bit on exposing all of these people that are so, they're considered pros and they're selling trade signals and stuff. And what I want to do is show you how some of these people are finding those trade setups and automating them so that people like you can pay for them and they can suck you into paying for stuff like that. You can do it for yourself. You can do it for free, and it's not difficult to do. You don't have to be some crazy technical guru or programmer or something to set this up. So that's going to be my second video. So what I want to start with right now is just kind of getting into when you're first starting out trading. And this is for anybody that's been trading less than, I want to say, 3 to 5 years, is you have to figure out first what kind of trader that you are. And by doing that, you have to first understand and realize how much time that you can actually dedicate to trading and do an honest self-assessment. So, if you're somebody that has really long working hours, or you're a family man and you spend a lot of time with your family, or like you have to assess what your risk-taking abilities are. Are you a big risk taker? Are you not? Are you more conservative and you don't like taking risks? These are things that you really have to kind of figure out for yourself before you can even begin to start to arrange capital to start trading with. So if you're somebody that has long working hours, like I said, or you don't have, you work from home or something, like that would be, if you don't work at all, or you work from home and you don't go to an actual job, then that would probably be something that would be more specific to someone that's going to day trade, or someone that likes to swing trade because they work part-time, or they already work from home and things like that. If you have long working hours, that's more going to be the kind of thing where if you're not willing to kind of start stepping away from your job after you learn the basics of trading, and you want to cut back your normal work hours because you want to be a swing trader or you want to be a day trader and you want to learn how to do that, then if you work full time and you want to stay doing that, then probably investing and really long-term trades is going to be the kind of thing that you're going to be looking for. But most people, they say, I want to be a day trader. I want to be able to work from home and cut back my work hours. And that's what I did. And it's not difficult to get there, but it does take a long time and it takes a lot of knowledge. And there's certain things that you have to know before you can start just throwing capital at trades, because if you do that, you're going to lose your money. So one of the first things that you have to do is you have to arrange sufficient capital. So if you're already working and you want to cut your hours back so that you can trade more, don't do that right off the bat. That's a very bad idea. So you have to, when you're working, keep your job full time and slowly put aside some capital. You can put aside, maybe 5% or 10% or whatever from your paycheck or whatever that you get, or your salary, and you can arrange a certain percentage to put aside so that you can put that into a portfolio or to a savings account before you open up a portfolio with a broker, or you open up, an account on Bitfinex or whatever you're trying to do. So go ahead and do that first. Set aside some capital that you can open up a portfolio with. Now, the next part after you start having some capital, or while you're putting that aside to kind of speed up the process a little bit, is educate yourself on the markets. So you have to decide what market you want to trade in. Obviously, this channel is more geared for cryptocurrency and digital assets. That may not be the route that you want to take. For instance, I personally got started in Forex and commodities and trading securities and stuff like that. But there's a lot of different kinds of things that you can trade. You can trade ETFs, you can trade mutual funds, you can trade options, futures. There's so many different things that you can trade, commodities and things, traditional stocks, like if you want to trade IBM and Disney and things like that. There's so many different things that you can trade, but what you have to do is make a decision on what kind of market that you do want to trade in, and then start researching how those markets work. And there's many ways that you can do this. You can watch the charts periodically and, just kind of take notes on it. And you have to understand how these markets work, how volatile they are, and things like that, so that when you do start making trades, you're better educated onto how those markets work specifically for what you're investing in. So the next thing that you have to do is you have to start figuring out your trade strategy. And there's a million different ways to do this. It's specific for every single person. Everyone trades differently. So I can't tell you a trade strategy that I can give you examples, but it's something that everyone is comfortable with on different levels. Some people like to trade longer term and just trade off of the moving averages. Some people like to use a combination of indicators. Some people like to trade, if they're day trading, they like to trade on very small time frames and use a combination of indicators and read the candlesticks as well, so that they can get an understanding of when to enter and when to exit their trade. But there's certain things that you're going to be able to do based on what indicators you're using and what you feel comfortable with. So what I recommend doing if you're trying to start a trading strategy is figure out and play around with the charts and stuff, and figure out what indicators you like to use. If you've modified some and it goes really well with the chart and you can understand it very well, once you get comfortable in how the physical chart that you have is set up, now what you can do is you can go ahead and you can back test these strategies. So I highly recommend doing this if you're coming up with a new strategy, especially, is back test the strategy first. Paper trade it before you go live with any actual capital. You have to back test your strategy. That way you can ensure that your strategy is reliable and it's a winning strategy, at least for now, or based on what market that you're trying to trade in. So the next thing that you do while you're starting to back test your strategy that you come up with is you need to understand and practice good money management. So if you come up with a strategy and 7 out of 10 of your trades are profitable, then based on that, you need to decide how much capital to reinvest from that amount. So let's say you're trying to figure out how much to invest in your very first trade. Well, you have to figure out what an average record is for this strategy that you back tested, and then make a decision based off of that. If this strategy was winning 6 out of 10 times or 7 out of 10 times, then you can more easily find out how much capital that you're willing to risk to put into a trade. So that's where a lot of risk management comes in terms of implementing stop losses and things like that. I did write an article about this, and I'm going to post it in my Discord so that you guys have access to that. But there's no magical one-size-fits-all rule to stop losses, because everyone is using a different amount of capital to trade with. Everyone's portfolio is a different size, and everyone has a different level of accepted risk with the trade. So when you go into a trade, you might like taking higher risk trades because you know that even though it's higher risk, it's going to have a higher return. No risk, no reward, right? But some people like swing trading and entering into longer term trades that are going to be lower risk with a larger amount of capital. You can do that as well. It really depends what you're comfortable with as a trader and the strategy that you're going to use while you're trading. So these are all things that you have to figure out. All of these steps kind of build upon one another so that you can, first you figure out what kind of trader you are, then you put aside capital, then you research the markets that you want to trade in, then you come up with a strategy that you want to trade, and you back test it, and you paper trade it for a while. And then after you do that, you place your first trade, and you can start from there. Whenever you place a trade, always put a stop loss. Now you have to figure out, like I said, where you feel comfortable doing that, but you always have to put one there so that you don't lose more than 5% of your total portfolio value. That's my rule. When I put a stop loss and I'm making a trade, I make sure that I don't lose more than like 5% or 10% of whatever I had entered into that trade with in the first place. That's something that I do personally, but that may or may not work for you. That's just something that I do. So those are really good things to start with so that you can discover yourself as a trader and kind of learn a strategy that you want to implement and learn the markets that you want to invest in. So that's kind of what I wanted to get in today. I did want to keep the video short and about 10 minutes or so. So if you guys have any questions on this, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter at Cobra Trading. My DMs are always open. You can also reach me on the Discord channel that I have, and there's a link to that in my profile on Twitter as well. So I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and I hope that this was helpful for you. Have a nice one, and remember, happy trading.